Corruption, it's a problem that feels as old as civilization itself. It's this constant drag on the world, costing us trillions and just eroding public trust. So, how do we solve it? Well, today, we're going to look at two radically different answers. One promises a perfect system, something engineered to make corruption flat out impossible. The other, it relies on the slow, messy, difficult work of building trust between people. Let's dig in and see which future we're heading towards.
Okay, so check this out. This quote comes from a theoretical concept called the integrity engine, and it is a huge, almost unbelievable claim. The idea here isn't to make people better, but to make their behavior, well, irrelevant. The goal is to build a system where corruption isn't just illegal, it's mathematically impossible. And it does that by taking trust completely out of the equation.
So yeah, this leads us to this kind of sci-fi question, right? Could we really build a world where you just push a button and poof, zero corruption? Let's explore what that would even look like.
At its core, the engine is all about total, absolute transparency. I want you to imagine a system where every single transaction is recorded on a digital ledger that everyone can see and, crucially, no one can change. Think of it like the blockchain technology that powers cryptocurrencies. In a world like that, there are just no shadows for corruption to hide in. The goal isn't to catch the criminals, it's to create an environment where the crime itself just can't happen.
I mean, the ambition here is just staggering. The people who believe in this aren't talking about small fixes. They're promising a complete transformation of our entire global economy. By getting rid of financial losses and protecting our systems from human mistakes, they see this perfectly transparent, super productive world. It's a real utopian vision.
And that's where things get interesting. Because if this sleek, simple, techie solution is even theoretically possible, then why is the actual real-world fight against corruption so messy, so complicated, and, let's be honest, so very human?
All right, let's switch gears completely. Welcome to the other side of the story. This is the world of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption. And it's not about a single button. It's about building what you could call a bureaucracy of integrity. A dense, detailed, global framework that is all about human collaboration and reforming our institutions. And you can see the difference right away. This is not some top-down system from a lone genius. Get this, just one of the UN's many, many implementation guides was put together by judicial experts from over 60 different countries. This is a global, bottom-up effort, built on talking it out and sharing what works. So, right there, you see the philosophical split. It's the total opposite of the integrity engine. The UN isn't trying to make trust obsolete. It's trying to build it. The whole point is to strengthen our faith in our own institutions by creating clear, fair, and transparent rules of the road for everybody. Okay, so what's actually in this global toolkit? What are we talking about here? It's not a single piece of software, but a whole collection of strategies and best practices that are designed to deal with the messy reality of how people actually behave. Let's look at a few of the key tools. Well, it all starts with defining the problem, right? Take a concept like conflict of interest. At its heart, this is all about human ethics and judgment. It's about those gray areas where a public official's personal life could start to bleed into their professional duties. A machine might not even see the issue, but this is at the core of so much real-world corruption. And here's what that actually looks like on the ground. This quote is from a UN report documenting what was really happening. It shows you the gritty reality. This isn't some high-level financial scheme. It's a routine system of small bribes in a traffic court. This is the kind of everyday corruption that absolutely destroys public faith, and it's exactly what the UN's detailed rulebooks are trying to stop. This is where you really see how complex it gets. When you look at prosecutors, some countries say, look, if there's enough evidence, you have to prosecute. That removes the chance for a shady backroom deal. But others give them discretion, which allows for some nuance, but means you have to trust their integrity. There's no single right answer here, just a series of human trade-offs, something a simple algorithm would really struggle with. So this is how change actually happens with the UN's approach. Let's take Nigeria's effort to create a new code of conduct for its government ministers. It wasn't just handed down from on high. No, they brought all the stakeholders together, they drafted the code collaboratively to get buy-in, they published it for everyone to see and hold them accountable, and they even set up a support system for officials. Every single step is a human process designed for humans. Let's take another example, Singapore, and their so-called 10 Commandments approach. Now, what's really telling is that in a country that's super efficient and tech forward, what's the very first principle? Lead by example. Yeah, they embrace technology, but it's just one tool in the box. Ultimately, the human element, leadership, is put right at the front.
And wow, does the UN framework get specific, especially when it comes to financial disclosures? To stop conflicts of interest, officials have to declare so much more than what's in their bank account. We're talking board memberships, volunteer work, even their family's assets. The whole point is radical personal transparency, making it way harder for private interests to secretly influence public duty.
So when you boil it all down, we're looking at two totally different philosophies. One vision is a world where we basically engineer trust right out of the system, relying on perfect technology. The other is a world where we build trust brick by painful brick through human-led reform.
And this is where the two paths really split. The engine offers this very seductive promise, right? A perfect top-down system that makes trust obsolete because bad behavior is literally impossible. But the toolkit, well, it accepts that humans are imperfect. It's a bottom-up struggle to build stronger institutions that encourage us to be better, a fight that's waged by people for people.
Which leaves us with one last really big question. Are we trying to build a perfect system that protects us from our own flaws? Or are we trying to build better institutions that encourage us to be our better selves? One path tries to bypass human nature. The other really depends on it. The question for all of us is, which future are we actually building?